Hello, everyone. This is Sandra Rojo. Welcome to another Journey to Authentic Living video, and welcome to 2018. So I hope you all had a good New Year's Eve and holidays in general. And today I want to talk a little bit about an aspect of personal development that I think is extremely important to be able to address in this video and hopefully give you an example. And by the way, before I begin, I hope that you can all see me. I had to borrow this room here and the lighting is what it is. So hopefully you can all hear me and see me well. Okay, so let's get started. One of the, and I've got my notes here, by the way, so if you see me look down, it's because of that. I want to talk a little bit about the way we define here at Journey to Authentic Living, how we define personal development. And it really comes from the concept. I was much inspired by the concept of eudaimonia. It's a Greek concept. Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates all spoke about eudaimonia, or the eudaimonic life. And it encompasses many definitions. One of them is human excellence. The other one is, full potential. The other one is living a rewarding and fulfilling life, a purposeful life, a life of meaning. And our goal is to help people discover their true selves, discover what they feel is a rewarding and fulfilling life, regardless of their age, of their religion, of whatever, right? We all have the potential to live out a rewarding and fulfilling life. Even when we have chronic pain, we might be disabled physically, and some even psychological disabilities as well. Regardless of all that, we have that potential. And so that's how we define it. We don't concentrate on making you be happy. Happiness, it has a very different flavor. It's also ephemeral. So what I mean by that is happiness is not long lasting. So I could be happy for this moment, right? Being with you and communing with you, and maybe dreaming or thinking that there are going to be many people listening to this or watching this video that could make me happy. But maybe in about a half an hour, I'm going to go about doing my things or whatever it is, and then I'm not going to feel that happiness. So in that way. So happiness is not sustainable in that sense. But Plato and Aristotle and Socrates all believed that eudaimonia was sustainable, that it was a lifelong goal to reach, that we could be satisfied with our lives, that we could find fulfillment in our lives. And even when we didn't have happiness, that moment of happiness, right? There are many times where I wake up, I drink my coffee, I'm looking on my computer, I'm not happy. I don't feel this, happiness, but I feel a depth of fulfillment and purposefulness. And I suppose we can also say that in some form or shape, that brings some happiness. Okay, but I don't want to get too abstract and too philosophical in regards to happiness, but I just want to really bring that to your attention. When we look back on our lives, we want to be able to say, wow, it's been a good life. Another definition of eudaimonia is living the good life. Okay, again, according to what you believe that to be. And so on social media, I have been really seeing a lot of very positive quotes, encouraging words. They're usually the same posts. They're usually the same quotes that are just regurgitated. Sometimes people either retweet something, a quote, for example, that's encouraging, or they retweet, or they post something on Instagram, for example, and then they might say in the caption, keep going or something like that. I'm not criticizing that necessarily. I think that that's fine and it's needed, and that's great and dandy, right? A lot of what I address, though, in without Journey to Authentic Living, and my posts are a little bit heavier topics. It's about really taking a look at ourselves. And I am optimistic. I mean, there's a lot of optimism in the work that I do, but the topics, or the discovery when you're coaching with me or coaching with one of my people of my team, or even in therapy, even in therapy, you have people that want you to live out your full potential. That's extremely optimistic. There's nothing negative about that. But when you're in the process of personal development, it is messy. It can be messy. It's painful. There's things about us that are difficult to see or to want to see, because there's a lot of shame connected to that, or shame or embarrassment. Maybe we were criticized a lot as children or growing up, or maybe just by our society, or it could even be by race. Also, some of these things are these feelings that we have are also inherited as well by in our genes as well, our personality traits. Personal development, though, is being able to take a look at aspects of ourselves that we ignored. It's taking a look with whom we live with, where we live. It's the culture, it's the religion, it's the whatever it is that we are involved, life, to take a look at our life. What's not working, what the potentials might be of why it's not working. And we have a tendency to want to blame somebody else for making us miserable, right? We have a tendency. Even for some of us who are in personal development, we got to totally keep a check on that one. I mean, we got to walk the talk, right? We have to always keep a check on that. And so why is social media, sometimes I have a tendency a little to criticize these sort of positive quotes or things like that, or people who promise you this happiness. You just have to be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Is kind of bullshit, to be honest with you. And we have to wake up. We cannot ignore, we cannot blame, everybody all the time. We have to take a look at what we have now, what is going on in our lives now. And it takes commitment and not distraction. We spend an enormous amount of time, chatting and things like that. And we believe that we're doing our personal development. We believe that we are this or that, we're talking about it. But just because you're talking about it doesn't mean you're doing it. And so I just really want to stress that it's important that the commitment be there. I'm not here, and I'm not going to say that it's easy when we are changing inside ourselves, when we realize that, I don't know, for example, I remember one of the things that was happening to me was that I couldn't, as I was really becoming more authentic within myself, I had to refrain from watching television, watching the news especially. And it wasn't just because of the negative, because we all know that it is negative, but just I could see through the manipulations. I mean, it wasn't just, left politics and right politics. It was all of them mixed together. So when finally, many years after this whole thing blew up about the fake news, I was kind of laughing because I was like, oh, I've been there already. And I don't mean to say that right now in an arrogant way, like, oh, I'm some enlightened individual. I'm just giving an example to say that, it was sort of the process, and I got criticized for it a lot. People would criticize me a lot. I because I just couldn't do it. And I had to be true to myself. I had to be true to my personal development. And that's kind of what I'm talking about a little bit. That might be a really good example. It's sometimes you have to go, actually, you must go against the grain in personal development. You may follow a group, you may follow some people, you may feel connected. That, to me, in social media, I mean, I have actually made some few really good friends, not a lot, but just a few friends through the years that I've been able to keep in touch with, that I confide in. It's beautiful. But it's also, they're relationships that are that are healthy in nature. There's not some expectation that's, I don't know what, grandiose. And they know about my life, I know about their life, and we respect each other and so forth. And we exchange ideas, and we have even helped each other out in our personal lives. So I'm not wanting to criticize social media for its beautiful gifts that are given to us. What I am saying is really reflect on all the chatting going on. Start looking within yourself. Start looking at your life. If you are into personal development or you are into therapy, take a look at this. Look at your life and see what needs to be changed to improve yourself, to improve your life. If indeed you're, of course, I'm speaking to people that may not be satisfied with your life. If you're satisfied with your life, well, then, you may find this video useless. In that case, it would be, So let's try to find, moving in 2018, I encourage you to really be able to look at your life and look within yourself. And when we want to stop certain behaviors, or we want to be able to change, that process requires you to reflect, to spend time alone, to find a trusted friend to talk about. But it's not a happy, go lucky all the time, think positive. I know it's, for some of you who believe that you can, the change your thoughts, change your life. I'm not, I used to think that. I used to kind of believe that, and I don't really anymore. I think our emotions are huge. Our emotions are a big indicator of really what's going on inside. And I actually think that when we are able to see what's going inside, what our unmet needs are, when we learn to identify if that's really a want, the want versus needs. I have another video, by the way, on that, the wants versus need. But when we're able to really discover that, what is going on with our feelings and why we behave the way we do, we'll realize that our thoughts play a big part in that. We can make assumptions very easily. If someone has a tendency to be very insecure, their paradigm, the way they're going to experience life, is going to be the lack of attention, the lack of compliments, whatever that lack of is. They're thirsty for that attention. And when you begin your personal development, really seriously work on your personal development and therapy, and or both, you'll discover, and I'm generally speaking here, but you'll discover that you're the one that needs to parent yourself. Even if you got all the compliments, how beautiful you are, or you got the attention that you think you want, it's not going to be completely satisfied, because you're the only one that can give yourself that love and that attention by building a relationship with yourself. You don't build a relationship with yourself through other people's chatting or positive, oh, you just got to think positive and it's going to all work out. If it did, the world would be in a different place, and it's not. There are more unhappy people, unfulfilled people, angry people, manipulations, like all the time, all around me. I see people manipulating, even nice people. You're going like, that's interesting, because they're not taking a look. And it's not a funny thing. But I find it interesting. We need to really keep tabs on that. And I guess I am kind of bringing humor now that I'm thinking about it. I think we do need to bring sometimes some humor into it. There's a seriousness and humor together with it. But I think I'm sort of smiling when I'm talking about it, because it's those behaviors used to be kind of reserved for people that were really not very nice people. But we're seeing a lot of different manipulations happening just with normal people, because they're not able to take a look at really what's going on. And these are the moments where we need to step back and say, what am I doing? If somebody says no to you and you insist and you try to find different ways to, there's something going on there. The problem isn't them, it's you. Or if you find yourself, I've used this example before because I think it's just so common, the insecure part of yourself, that needs, maybe you're self-conscious about the way you look or something, and you just need somebody to constantly be telling you that you're really good looking, or that you're whatever, I don't know, beautiful. And then, you keep on asking for, you keep on wanting that. It's just not going to fulfill you. So anyways, I don't want to make this more complicated, but I want us to be able to take a look at this. I hope that I didn't just provoke thought, even though here at Journey to Authentic Living, a lot of it is about provoking thought, but also trying to reflect, take time out, take time out from watching television, from being on your phone all the time. Get serious if you're not. For those of you that are watching this, some of you are, I'm sure, serious, but I'm saying, we can always do better, including myself. And I'll be very honest with you, I've made a shift. I love social media. This is my platform to talking to all of you guys. It's necessary. I love it. Let's create change in our lives. But I've had to make changes as well with social media. I can't, I have to work, and I have, family members that need me, and I have a house to attend to. And so, there's a lot of things going on. And I think that social media, when we're having dialogue with people, it just seems, I've just noticed this again. This doesn't make it right. I'm not saying I'm 100% correct. Just an observation is, it's almost as though we forget, we're sort of into this own bubble. We create this bubble when we're chatting with people, and nothing else exists. I don't know if you've noticed that. Nothing else seems to exist. You might talk about your day or talk about maybe some superficial things, but outside of that, it's like nothing else exists. And I think that's why it's so addictive, because it's like it's another world you're going into. Again, nothing wrong with that. I'm just inviting all of you. What aspects of your life do you need to contemplate more about, that you need to reflect and make changes, right? Who are some people that you need to say no to, and see if they respect you, see if they respect that time. And when you want to feel good, what are you running away from? What are you not facing? Because again, personal development, on the road to personal development, there reaches a point where you need to take a look at that pink elephant in the room. And it really isn't as scary. It is uncomfortable, and there is some suffering associated with it, because we're transforming, we're taking a look at things. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I actually believe that. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. That's me. Oh, wow, I didn't notice. When you start getting these aha moments, then you know that you're on your personal development. Again, just to highlight a generalization here, but I thought I would bring that up to some of you who are learning more about personal development. I'm wishing you all a great rest of your year, and thank you again for tuning in, and thank you again for your support. Thank you.